So today we welcome yet another rising star on Broadway. I mean, she already is a star, but currently she is making her Broadway debut in Six as Anna of Cleves. This guest is the first Six queen to take a bow. So welcome to Take a Bow, Brittney Mack.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Eli. Thank you for
Oh,
having me.
oh my gosh, I'm so happy to have you on. I'm obsessed with Six. I saw it before the pandemic. So that was a blessing. And I was one of the few people to be like, oh yeah, I saw it during the pandemic. So that was like my pandemic kind of brag. There's so many things I want to ask you, first of all, but the way I usually like to start my interviews is I like to ask, what kind of got you interested in the entertainment industry and what made you want to tell stories?
Well, I come from an entire family of artists and entrepreneurs and just
Mm.
very successful, incredible small business owners and I have always kind of just wanted to, I guess, work for myself, seeing whatever that liberty meant. Um, so in addition to that, I also grew up like my mom being a salon owner. She kept her own hours, so sometimes those hours were very late being a single mother.
Mm.
And she would just be like, okay, like after homework and reading and things like that, she would, play all of these CDs and she would play music. And also I grew up around music my whole life. My grandfather, introduced me to, I don't know, blues and jazz very early and old. I really, really love old 20s music. And he introduced me to radio. And so I've had all of these very
Wow.
interesting influences. And being from Chicago, which is where I'm from, the
Yes.
radio is such a big deal in Chicago. So radio shows like the Tom Joyner Morning Show and things like that, I grew up listening to. So my first like big would be my big break. I used to want to be a meteorologist on a radio show.
Oh.
Just because. And then I started I don't know why. I just was like, "Ooh, I want to sound like that." So because they always sounded so cool, or like the people giving the like traffic reports,
Sure.
and it was just so strange. But on the Tom Joyner Morning Show, there was this show called It's Your World that he used to
Oh.
do that was kind of like that was like a radio drama. So within his show, there was another show, and it was this like novella, like a soap opera. And it was my favorite thing to listen to in the morning, early in the morning, getting ready for like daycare. And I would sit there like, yes, oh my God. Like I knew what was happening with these very adult people.
Right.
And it was awesome. From there, I also grew up watching WTTW and PBS and things like that, and public broadcast network. Yay. And so my mom, really late at night, my mom used to, know that they would show musicals really, really late. And so
Oh.
one night, my mom sat me down in my big bird chair and she said, "You need to watch this and don't get up until it's done." And I was like, "Okay, mommy." And all the lights were off. And I just remember looking at a colorful screen for what felt like 30
Oh.
years. And of course, the, um, it was the opening to West Side Story. And I was like,
Yes.
oh, so we just dance in the street.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that. That's it. Then she introduced me to Shirley Temple was my first big like,
Mm.
oh, I want to be Shirley Temple. I was like,
Sure.
oh, yeah, I want to be her. She was just little and cute, and I'm little and cute. Like, let's go. I want to tap dance and
I love it.
smile and pout and be cute. That's me. That's me. Let's go. And then watching Black TV growing up. So there were so many different influences that I had just growing up saying, oh, and the biggest thing was honestly, Eli, my mom never said that I couldn't do or be any of the things that I said I wanted to do or be.
Oh, wow.
That was the biggest thing. She was like, okay, so tell mommy why you want to do this. And tell
Mm.
mom, okay, and so how do you want to do it? And just wanted to see how involved we were, and that includes me and my siblings, in what it is that we thought we wanted to do. Even if we were
Right.
going to change our minds, and parents know, even if we were going to change our minds, she just was always there to kind of take whatever we thought and grab it and cultivate it and help us go on to whatever path she saw that we really wanted to kind of start to go on. So I said, I want to be Gary Coleman and Shirley Temple when I grow up. And she was like, oh, let's do it. And started to kind of get me in ballet, pardon me, and get
Oh,
me into voice lessons and things like that. I was a pretty sick kid, so I had a lot of surgeries and stuff like that. But afterward, there was no stopping me. And
wow.
I guess the rest is history after that.
Little did you know here you would be today.
Here I am,
Amazing. Yeah. So talk to me because your first, would you consider like your first professional show to be Memphis?
No, I would consider my first professional show to be Rent from
Ah.
that I did at Seacoast Repertory Theater in Portsmouth, New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
And we that was the first like regional professional, get a check every week, your $300 every week
Oh yeah.
gig that I booked before I even graduated from AMDA. So
Wow.
on the weekends during my showcase, my teachers, my professor, everybody worked with me because we had the days off so you could go and audition, and we had evening classes. And I
Mm.
was like, and that was how the fourth semester was set up when I was going, so that you could audition and book. That was the idea. And I booked. And so they were
Yeah, you
like,
did.
you're gonna have to redo the program, or you got to figure something out with, and that was like my first time negotiating, right? Saying, okay,
Sure.
like I didn't have an agent. So like showcase was over, but I didn't have an agent or anything. So I was like, all right, um, okay, so, and we ended up working out that on the weekends, I would take the bus, go
Mm.
to New Hampshire, up to Portsmouth. So that's two buses, New York to Boston, Boston to Portsmouth.
Oh my
And
God.
then little old me, wow. When I think about it, I'm like, girl, who do
What age were you exactly?
so I took a
Like
year
college
off. So I
student?
think 18.
Yeah, that's
18,
insane.
probably 19, maybe 19.
Good for you.
Yeah, and because I did my first, okay, so probably 19. I did my first year in LA, AMDA LA, and then
Hmm.
transferred to New York. So I think I was 19 years old. Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Uh took buses up there, came back on the weekends, and then finished the program. Um,
Incredible.
yeah. So that was my first. So I did Rent there, where I was actually directed by Brian Swayze.
Mm.
Yeah, who is I believe the artistic director or associate director. I never know which A word it is at Algonquin Playhouse right now.
Right.
I love him so much. He taught me so much. So he
Oh.
directed and choreographed Rent there. My favorite part of that show, we had this beautiful like dance, like ballet sequence to Santa Fe. Wow. I
Oh.
still know it to this day.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
I'm obsessed.
So that. Seacoast Rep gave me my very first like
Yes.
professional gig. My first theater gig was at the drama group in the suburbs
Mm.
of Chicago, where I did Oliver. And
Oh,
then I did
yes.
Oliver there, and then I did Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
Oh,
So,
that's
because like
fun.
where else are you gonna be able to be black
Yeah.
and play one of the wives in Seven Brides but at community theater? And it was because it's one of my favorite movie musicals. So
Oh,
it
yeah.
was a really good time. But yep, Seacoast Rep.
So were those moments for you like that was it? Like that's when you knew like this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I know it now. This is
Oh, I
everything.
knew that when I was 4.
You okay. You
Always,
already knew.
I've always known. I was one of those kids that
Wow.
I've always known who I was,
Yeah.
all of us, me, all my siblings, we've always just known. And my mom was like, okay, because she raised us to have opinions. She raised us to
Right.
realize that we weren't kids, that we're little versions of people, that we just have to learn what we need to learn so that when we become big people, is not so hard. And so that's basically like was like her philosophy. And so she allowed us to speak our minds and talk. And so when we did that, we learned that it's not what you say, it's how you say it. We learned what
Sure.
respect meant. We learned like the my brothers learned like when a girl is going through what she's going through for the month, like leave her alone. Like we learn how to be
Right.
people. And so to do so going into things like actor housing and being with a bunch of people, like all of those experiences that come with college and or just like your contracts, I was cool because I come from a really big family. We had pets and animals everywhere. So I knew, because we learned respect very very young. And so that to say, I knew that this is what I wanted to do because I had to work for it, and she showed me that I had to work for it. I went to a private art school. In high school, I went to the Chicago Academy for the Arts.
Wow.
In my eighth grade year, my mom was like, "Okay, so listen," or seventh grade, she said, "If you want to go to start pursuing music theater full time, you have to stop cheerleading," because I was an athlete that
Yes.
performed like that. And so I was in track and I ran and I was just like very athletic. And so
Yes.
she was like, you got to start to choose because you got to heal your voice so you can sing. And I was like, so that was really the turning point of choice, because I
Absolutely.
went, other than that, you could continue to pursue acting in a different way and go to like an HBCU and like these things if you want to. Or, and again, my mom, choice, 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 choice. Uh,
Yeah.
free will, giving you the chance to make a choice because this is what adulthood would be. My mom, now that I'm in my 30s, I'm like, wow. I always call her and I'll be like, Mom, I just want to thank you.
Yeah, seriously.
Because wow, mom. Okay, have a good day. Okay, bye.
Right.
Like she's just so cool. And she was like, "Listen, I didn't know. We don't
Right.
know." She said, "I just know, one of the hardest jobs is not being a parent, it's being a kid, and
Mm,
it's hard. And I didn't want to make it harder for y'all."
right.
And so I just wanted to prepare you as much as I could. That's my job, is to prepare you as much as I could. And it was five of us, 5 to 1. And so she was
Right.
like, listen, and y'all, woo, and and we had a dog and the parakeets and an iguana
Yeah.
and two birds.
Oh
And
my
so it was a
god.
lot going on. But that I knew because I understood the work that it required, and I didn't mind it. I didn't mind at the time what it meant to be diligent, what it meant to persevere, what it meant to get up
Yes.
in high school at 4:30 in the morning to catch a train at 6, to be on the bus stop at 7, to be, and if you miss the bus, you better get on the other train and then walk to school, and what that meant at 13 years old.
Right.
So I was like, "Oh, LA? Yeah, let's go. I'll go be in LA for a while. Oh, New York, let's go." Like
Right.
so being just starting my contracts, I was like, yeah. And so, and Brittney Mack was the book, like back to back to back to back. They're like,
Oh.
Brittney, how long you in town for? You leaving now? Great. It's good to see you. Okay. Love you, friend. Okay. Bye. You know,
Oh.
it was like the joke amongst all my friends. So, and then, I blink and here I am.
Yeah, here you are. That's incredible. First of all, I wanna meet your mom. Your mom seems so cool.
She's so
Um,
cool.
no, but I feel like like, similar to my experience, like, if your parents if you wanna be in the performing arts as a kid, if your parents aren't, like, willing to take that jump with you,
Yeah.
and they're able to, like, look at you no longer as a kid, and they're able to respect you as, like, an individual, and like you're able to work things out, it's insane like what you can accomplish and what you can do and what you do to make it work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I mean, we know Eli, right? Like, how many people, how many friends do we have? How many colleagues, coworkers, people that we've met, peers in our industry that have been in a position where they just don't have that little bit of support.
Right.
And that's all we talk about, right? As artists, we're so emotional. We're just like, my parents didn't believe in me. My
Yeah.
parents didn't want, and so what happens is, theater becomes a refuge and and a place to run to as opposed to a place to arrive. right?
Right.
You're running towards this industry that you feel like will give you the acceptance that you really needed from somebody in your past, your friends, family, whatever. Because again, being a child, that's that early childhood development. Like you need the support. You just need
Right.
support. And, that's why teachers are so important. That's why, that family support is everything. Even if you have a sibling that's like, you better sing, and you're just like, really?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, you're like, okay, and
Right.
one person that will help you kind of, get to that, then it really does make a difference. It
Yeah.
really does. Because unfortunately, I find that like some, so pardon me for misspeaking, some people who don't have that support, it's harder for them to last in the industry. It's the
Right.
longevity part. It's the like, I think I can. I'm gonna keep on keeping on. I'm gonna truck along. It's that part, the perseverance, that get through the mud to get to the solid ground part. That's where the
Absolutely.
support is important. So yeah, and I guess even now I try to be that friend that's like, hey friend, how you doing? When's the last time you auditioned? You don't want to do that? That's okay. What you want to do? Sell
Yeah.
coffee? Let's go. You want to make your
Right.
own? Let's do it. What do I need to do to help you? Right. And
Aw.
so even as the adult, because that's all human, that's all we want is support and love,
Absolutely.
wherever it comes from. So yeah, Eli, I had a lot of that growing up.
That's amazing. I mean, everything in life just takes a group of people. It can't be accomplished by one person,
Yeah.
it's just not gonna happen that way.
Yes.
And it's the same thing for performing. So like the fact that you're able to do that and you're able to like be that friend and learn from your mama and just be like, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give back. I'm gonna put it forward. That's amazing. Good for
Yeah.
you. I want to talk to you about Memphis, and I want to talk to you about tour life.
Ah,
Um, I know tour life is amazing, but it's also like crazy all at the same time.
yeah.
Yeah, talk to me about it, and talk to me about like just not the difference between Broadway and tour, but kind of more so like how tour life prepared you for Broadway.
You know, touring and so interestingly enough, when I saw Memphis for the first time and I saw LaQuette Pringle sashay
Yes.
across that stage and kick her face, and I thinking about it now, I am like speechless. When I saw that opening and all these black faces on this stage, and I was like, great, cool, love this. You
Mm.
know, I was just like, what is going on? And you saw Ephraim Sykes slide across the stage, and
Oh,
then you saw Dan. I just was like,
so good.
this is a lot for me right now. This is a
Right.
lot. Um, but I there was nothing better. So when I saw her, I saw Memphis 5 times with the original Broadway
Wow.
cast. And then to see Montego with her beautiful chocolate self come down the stage. Hey y'all! Big old mouth, eyes open big. I just was like, and first of all, her arms, I said, come on, serve us these arms, Montego.
Right.
I I said, but I couldn't keep my eyes off LaQuette. I could not
Mm.
keep my eyes off LaQuette Pringle, who is a huge inspiration for me. I don't know if I've ever told her that. But she is. And she I saw her and I was like, I want to be that role. I want that. I want to wear what she's wearing. I want that wig. I want that.
Yeah.
And so I went in for Memphis. I was out of town when they did the first national uh the equity tour, and I was like, snap. But all everyone that I knew was on this tour, and I was like, oh no. I ended up doing funny enough, I ended up doing The Wiz at Main State Music
Yes.
Theater, and LaQuette was Dorothy in The Wiz.
Wow.
And Bree was in the ensemble, and Bree was in the ensemble of the Memphis, the first national. Another friend of mine, Alex Aguilar, was in I was in Memphis, the first national. Like, so all of these different connections, right? But I got a chance to witness LaQuette in all of her wonderful
Yes.
incredibleness. in The Wiz because she was Dorothy. And it was funny. I'll never forget. She came up to me and she said, you know, this role would be great for you. You really should play this role. And I said, I already have. And
Yeah.
so I was a replacement in that someone like called out. And so I ended up doing, then they called me for The Wiz. And so I kind of came and got a chance to work with like E. Clayton Cornelius and, you know, LaQuette Pringle and Eric and Nikali and Donna Drake directed it, and Mark Stewart choreographed it. So it was like huge, big Bobby Day. Like it was huge, big cast. Okay. It was
Sure.
one of those ones you were like, oh my God, this is like pre-Broadway. You know what I mean?
Right.
Alpha Hines was in it. Like this was like Broadway ensemble realness and Broadway
For
leads. Like,
real.
we're ready for this, right? And you know, E. Clayton is like original Broadway everything.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, if he's in this, So,
Who would
la la
love
la. I was plotting, okay? I was like, I'm
Right.
gonna shut myself down for this show, okay? Let's go.
Yes.
When she told me that, it kind of like burned in my spirit, and I was like, oh my gosh, and we became very cool, and I adore her. So I went in for the tour following, which was the non-equity tour. But this tour, I knew quite a few people who were going in for it. So I was like, I'll go in for it. And I'm in the callback, the final callbacks for the dance part. And Bree is standing there. She goes, Brittney Mack, hey girl. I said, hey Bree. Like, oh my God, hi, like that. And I made it all the way through to the final round after cuts and all of these
Nice.
things. So it goes to show you how important work ethic is and building relationships are. And that doesn't mean talking to everybody and hanging out all the time, but it does
Sure.
just mean staying true to who you are. And like, if you're this like person, be this person, you know, whatever
Right.
that is. And she was like, oh my God, Brittney, you are so crazy. Like, and because I was just in there having a good time because that's just kind of me. And I love this show and I love the music. And we learned underground. And I was
Mm.
like, oh my God, I'm ready. Oh my God, I was so ready. And wow.
You're like serving right now for
I
those
was like
watching.
freaking out. I was like, yes, let's go, let's
Yeah.
go, let's go. And I was there all day. It was the longest day ever. This guy that I really, really liked at the time was also there. And so we were like in it together. And like we worked together years before. So we were like hanging out. And I was like, hi. It's
Oh
like
my
when you
god,
don't
I
care
love
you're
it.
sweaty, you know, because you look hot, because you're just like, yeah, I'm still in it. I'm still in callback. So yeah.
Right.
So then, la la la. So I ended up actually not booking it originally, but I
Uh-huh.
got called to do a replacement on it. Someone got hurt, someone got injured. So I was kind of like a vacation swing really quickly. So I just came in, I learned Memphis in two dressing rooms and a lobby.
What?
And yeah, that's how I learned the track. And let me tell you, when I say shove with love
Right.
and you know, just jumping on like, okay, here we go, you know, but I also understood and knew it was my job to show up. So
Mhm.
I showed up, baby. And when I tell you, they were like, Brittney, you better. They were like, nobody has ever laughed at that part. Why are they laughing? And
Oh.
I was like, well, I'm a like, I don't know, guys. I don't know because I don't know. Who cares? You know?
Yeah.
And um, it was just so much fun. But really, it was like, oh my God, I am in. And I was actually in the same role that LaQuette was in. And I was like,
Wow.
huh, wow. I'm in the
Full circle.
bodysuit, I'm in the shoes, I'm in the wig, I'm in the dress, I'm in the like, and I was like, it's important to say what you want.
Yes.
And once you say it, don't stop till you get it, you know? And because Bob Klein cast me. And he called me. I never forget, I was in my apartment. I was back in Chicago too. I
Mm.
was like, Bob, I'm back in Chicago. Like, I left the city because I was my grandfather had passed. My mom was like, da da da. Like, there was a whole bunch of things going on. And he was like, well, I need you in Mississippi tomorrow. And I
Tomo
was like, tomorrow. That's what I did, Eli. Tomorrow
Right.
to me.
Right.
And was packed and was ready to go.
Oh my
I was like, I
god.
gotta wash some panties, but I will be there. And I was there, and what was lovely was being there with Aviance Hoyles, who I went to AMDA with, being there with some familiar faces,
Mm.
and some new familiar faces now, people that like Keely, who's in Moulin Rouge, and Jasmine, who's in Book of Mormon, and Sydney, who's right now just first of all, he's just the most beautiful human being, but he's in Paradise Square right now.
Oh man.
Him and JT and Paris Nix, and they were all in beautiful together. They kind of just like kept booking the same thing because they are all very pretty. I was like,
Right.
wow, must be nice to be pretty black men. And they were just like, we go here and here and here and here and here and here. And so it was just really nice. And I also went to AMDA with Paris as well. So they were like, Brittney Mack! And I was like, oh my gosh. So it was cool because people got a chance to kind of be like, okay, well, she must be cool because these people know her, they know her rapport. And they were like, you still up? And I was like, yes, I have to get this. My roommate was Oyoyo.
Oh
Oyoyo is she's a swing in MJ right now.
yes.
I love her. And like the
So
community is
talented.
oh my gosh, she's
Oh my god.
insane.
So talented.
She's insane.
I'm obsessed.
Like what the what?
Yeah.
Ew. And she's so
Right.
beautiful and long and sweet
So
and
not fair.
funny. She's so funny. So, the other thing was feeling for the first time I think ever, I felt short because Oyoyo's got a nice height on her and she's very long. And
Mm.
Keely's very long. And so I was like, oh, they hire really long black girls. I'm not long. So it also gives you an insight on like casting and things and what they were looking for.
Sure.
Because a lot of times you're like, well, you just don't know what they were looking for. Or and yeah, you want to think like your height isn't what excuse me, your height isn't whatever, but Jasmine, who played Felicia, is tall. So that was our ensemble, right? And so that
Right.
was our black ensemble, our Beale Street ensemble. So it was like, oh, that made sense. I was like, oh, cool. Okay. And it was just like, cool, cool, cool. So it was interesting to kind of start to see and notice certain things and how touring worked. And let me tell you something, it's a hard life. Being on the
Right.
bus, being on planes, like the
On your day off. So like
days
what
off,
is a
like,
day
you
off?
don't have a turnaround day. So
Right.
then what is your recovery like? Then you gotta check in the hotels, then you gotta figure out where you're going from there, then you gotta make sure you eat, you gotta this, you gotta that. And listen, this was not when everybody was like, "Oh my God, I have celiac, I have this, I have that." And I'm not downplaying people who have things, but on tour, you get what you get, or you better hope you go to Walmart and
Right.
get you some, it wasn't this is interesting because there wasn't like Grubhub.
Right.
And you
Yeah.
wasn't Grubhubbing till you was like, I guess let me see if they got delivery. Let me call Domino's. Like
Right.
it was that. It was like, oh, I'm at the gas station. Let me get some fruit cups. Like
Right.
you got what you could. And I tell you one thing, if you were like, I don't eat beef, well, you might today.
Right.
You get your protein, child.
You can
I don't know. Like you just never
right.
really knew what you were gonna get. But it was lovely, and I had a wonderful experience coming into a cast that had already built what they built, right?
Sure.
And I was very aware that I was just there temporarily. And I was like, and they
Mm.
were like, Brittany, so are you gonna stay? I said, oh no, this is too hard for my body.
Oh,
I knew immediately. I said, oh,
yes.
my body can't do this, like
Yeah.
naps on the buses, on the floor, buying dog beds because
Yeah,
they're
that's
like
real.
memory foam and cushy and this, and you buy three and then you whatever, and y'all share. And I said, oh no, this is not for me. No, no, no,
Mm.
no, no. It was something to learn from. It was something to prepare me, but more for preparation of understanding what role in my career that I wanted.
Right.
How do I want to continue to pursue my career? I am not I am not a swing. Some people
Mm.
are like, no, I am a swing. Like that is my gift. That is not
Yeah.
my gift. God did not bless me with that gift.
Right.
The way my kneecaps are set up, that's not for me. Being an athlete,
Fair.
being young, it was very hard on my body, and not maintaining that particular athletic lifestyle and switching to more of an artistic lifestyle. So you're talking ballet and things like that. the body start, I have acute arthritis in my knee. Like I have like so
Ah,
from running, I've been a runner my whole life. And so it got
right.
to a point where it was like, yeah, you can't do that anymore. And I was like, oh, I don't know who I
Yeah.
am, right? Like, because it's about who you are outside of what you do. So I did that tour, learned so much in the short time I was there, was so welcomed. Everyone was so lovely. Um, and I figured out, I said, okay, I'm not a swing. I'm not a swing. I'm not even really so much like an understudy cover type of situation. I'm either
Yeah.
gonna be full ensemble or I'm a lead.
Right.
And that's just it. But I am in the show every day. I like the
Right.
consistency of it. I'm a person who needs consistency, who desires it, and who functions very well with it. So from that, um, I knew that whatever pursuit of whatever I wanted in Broadway or in the rest of my career, that's what I would always go for.
Yeah.
So that's what I learned from touring, and
That's
and
fascinating.
that was more my thing. What prepared me for Broadway, because then I did cruise ships, I did all kinds of things.
Yeah.
I really liked working for Royal Caribbean. I really liked the cruise ship life. People have opinions about it, but I think don't knock it till you try it. And it is
Mm.
very hard. It is, but wow, 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 wow. It makes you so culturally aware. It makes you realize
Oh.
how small America really is. It makes you understand and learn the rest of the world's opinions about our country.
Yeah.
It really teaches you. Now it's very popular to say give grace, right? It's very trendy, but it teaches you what that actually means when you're dealing with someone who doesn't speak English. When we think everybody speaks English, but why don't you
Right.
speak Italian? Why don't you speak Spanish? Why don't you speak Tagalog? Like
Yeah.
what's wrong with you? And it's like, oh, okay, wow, right? Um, so yeah, it's interesting. I learned, and what prepared me for Broadway, honestly, Eli, was every experience in my whole life.
Right.
Every single, I can't pinpoint one, but I will tell you different turning points that I had, like working with Brian, learning
Mm.
professionalism in that way, learning where your lines are with production and like your directors and your cast, what that is, even if you
Yes.
did feel comfortable. We're learning what the business part of the show is. Show
Yeah.
business. This industry is 99.9% business.
Right.
Then 1% is the
Right.
0.1% is show. Um,
Yeah.
and the business part is simply how you carry yourself. It's how you choose to navigate this industry, and doing it with integrity. And that it's not what you do, it's how you do it. That if you want to be successful, that success is a mindset. So that's why people who say, oh, you can do anything you put your mind to, that's where that comes from. Because as long as you shift your mind, so as a man thinks, so is he.
Mhm.
Soon as you think it, that's why it's so important to think a positive. That's why positive thinking, positive affirmations, whatever it is that gets you out of bed in the morning. I could do this.
Right.
All right, I got this. I mean, I'm gonna sit here. I may fart for a second, but then I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go. Whatever works for you, get up and do it. I get up and I make myself laugh. I have a vanity in my room and I get up and I look at it and I go, wow, wow, ma'am. Who you are winning today.
Yes.
Why is your face dry? And then I like make myself laugh and I'm just like, wow, just cry, just eyes crusty. What, ma'am, could you? And I'm gonna handle that. Like that is my conversation with me in the morning.
Yes.
And I'm just because I have to humor for myself because life is hard.
Mm.
This industry
Yeah.
is hard. And so and I mean, not even to mention the last 2 years that everyone has gone through in the whole world. It's just been so much. So even that, right, has prepared me to come back to Broadway, right? And
Mhm.
what that looks like and knowing what to ask for as a Black woman in a
Yes.
show that can be very shaping industry wise, right?
Right.
Be very shaping. And when I say industry, I'm talking to the younger artists in our industry, the artists that are coming up to Broadway.
Absolutely.
Looking at Six can shape their whole worlds and take the idea of impossible and turn it into possible, right?
Right.
And say like, wait, okay, I could do that. You know what I
Yes.
mean? I could do that. To take a show like Six and say we cast all female identifying and non-binary people in these roles. I'm
Right.
sorry, what? I'm sorry,
Yes.
what?
It's
I
amazing.
Let's go.
Right.
And to challenge those who are to actually come in and audition though. Like actually do it. Challenge
Mhm.
them and make them say no to you.
Yes.
And be everything that you are, right? So coming into Broadway, it was really how I carry myself. I've always said that Broadway is the floor
Yeah.
because it's a stepping stone, it's a launch pad for what you could do in this industry. And the show like Six is so big that for me it's, you get 5 seconds of being in the next big show. So right
Yeah.
now I'm probably at second three and a half, and
Mhm.
I got 2.5 more seconds, 1.5 more seconds to be like, okay, what do I do with this platform while I'm here?
Yeah.
What do I do? Where can I continue to be a light? How can I be Brittany and help to shape the minds of those who thinks that it's impossible, to make them know that it is possible for this little bitty 4'11" thing from Chicago to wear her natural hair on stage playing a German queen
Yes.
and the story just be what it is, right? It doesn't change. People don't be like, well, you're not pale, so you're not German. What? I don't care. I just want to hear what happened. Most people don't
Right.
even know who Anne is.
Right.
People have no idea. They're like, now who is this fourth one? And everybody's like, oh my God, when it's done, when you realize who she is, what her story, how much she rocks, Um,
Yes.
so it's just that cool. You know what I mean? And that so all of that to say, Broadway is a street that
Yeah.
runs from the top of the island all the way down to the bottom of it, right? And in every state there's a Broadway street.
Yeah.
You want to be on Broadway, go sing on the street. No, but but really though, it is important to know that the same way you approach auditioning for your regional houses, it's
Mhm.
just you just
It's the
auditioning.
same.
It's the
Yeah.
same. When you go in, you're like, oh, and we still have tech. We have 10 out of 12s. We do this, we do that. Everything's literally the same. So
Yeah.
your career is what prepares you for your career. Interesting.
Yeah.
It really is kind of all the same. Stage management, this, that. Every house has its own rules, just like every theater has its own rules.
Right.
Um, and that's it. It really is just maintaining who you are.
Yeah.
You gotta maintain who you are. So it's important to know who you are. And if you don't, it's okay to take time to figure it out.
Right.
Hard to do that.
It is hard to do that, and I feel like finding out who you are and truly knowing that you won't be able to perform and become someone else until you know who you are.
Exactly.
You
So that
know?
you can see where you fit, so you can see what you add to the character to
Right.
make them tangible and to make them reach the audience. That's the
Right.
thing, right? Because we could see, what made us freak out when Leslie Odom came down. How does a bastard or
Come
son
on.
of a, and you're just like, ha!
Yeah.
Ah! Oh my God. Like I believed immediately everything he told me.
Yep. Absolutely.
Everything he said, I believed it.
Mhm.
Everybody else, I didn't know what they were talking about. But everything Leslie is telling me, I believe you, sir. Right? And if you read his book, what is it? Failing Up? I think it's
Oh my
Falling
god.
Up. Um,
I didn't even know that he had a book.
Oh my God, it's incredible. Is it falling up? I'm gonna find out what it is. But his book is just so lovely, and you just get so much of who he is that you go, that's why you okay, failing up. And you're
Failing
like,
up,
failing
yeah.
up. Yeah. And I'm like, that's why I see it now. You
Yeah.
know, I see it now. And you hear about his passion and things like that with Rent, and you hear how everything he did in his life prepared him for this thing, this
Yes.
show that he had been in from the ground up, that where he had no money, where he stuck with it. That's the perseverance, right? Where and so it's
Mhm.
funny because people, they want to know what's the sauce, right? How do you get to Broadway? How do you whatever? Everyone's journey is going to be different, but I guarantee you, everyone's cake will be different, but the ingredients all in all are the same.
Right.
You need flour, you need eggs, you need milk, you need what you need for it to stick and rise is what you need. But your flavor may be chocolate, your flavor may be strawberry, your flavor
Yeah.
may be different. Your frosting, cream cheese, whipped cream, do
Right.
your thing. Fresh fruits, I see you sprinkles. But
Right.
the cake itself still needs exactly what it needs to be a cake.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
that's what this is, you know?
It's so true. Oh my god, that's amazing. That little reference
Wow, that
there
was
is
deep. I know,
so
right?
yeah, like, that went to another
Oh
place.
my God. I'm a philosopher.
Right. You're gonna have your own show soon. Oh my
Listen,
god.
I should.
Right. Oh my god, that was intense, but, like, that was real talk, you know? Like, that was real stuff, and it's totally true. I mean, it's incredible the way that you were able to put that out, and I was like, "Wait, that actually makes sense." And it makes it better when you're talking about food. It's easier to
I
follow
mean,
along.
right?
Right?
Always. Everyone's like, wait, food?
You grabbed my attention when you
Got you.
said cake.
Got you. Right.
Right. Um, well, I have to ask just because, like, we're talking about, like, 6, like, you mentioned, like, it truly is revolutionary for Broadway. I mean, just to have an all-female cast, the creative team, everything, it's just what you guys are doing, it's literally, like, the hottest ticket in town. It's just, like, it's insane, and it's beautiful, and what you all are doing 8 shows a week is just even more incredible. Like, what is it like to be able to, like, collaborate with all of these wonderfully talented and beautiful women on a stage?
Oh my gosh, it's insane. Like
Yeah.
because everyone's always like, it's insane, and I'm like, it really is. Like what
Yeah.
happens on that stage, I'm like, I promise you I black out. And I'm really
Yeah.
glad that I do. Like my
Yeah.
personal performance, I black out. But I can tell you everything that's going on that stage.
Mm,
Because we are just a bunch of really good friends laughing at each other and being silly. Like there is no real work happening, Eli.
right.
That is not okay. This is Broadway, okay? This is the
Yes.
pinnacle. We need to get it together. You know what? It's something that we established, and by we I mean the OG6, which includes myself, Samantha Polly, Andrea Macassette, um, Adriana Hicks, Abby Mueller, and Anna Uzele.
Mm,
We started all together at Chicago Shakespeare Theater,
yes,
and
your hometown.
turn up, turn
Come
up,
on.
and we were there, and it we are all pieces to an incredibly perfect puzzle that we didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
And it's you wait for so long for something that seems tailor made for you. And I remember, let me tell you something, Eli, the way I went in for Beautiful,
Mhm.
I went in for them so many times I can't even listen. I was just like, I I should have got paid. That's how many times I went in.
For real.
I even went in one time, and there was this girl that I knew that she from high school, and she didn't show up. And I was waiting, and I said, if they have a space available, I would love to just walk in and like do this audition, because I knew that they were actually
Wow.
casting. And they were like, I'm so sorry, we can't take anyone. I was like, even the girl that didn't show up, which I'm mad because I know her, mind you. I'm like, I should text her right now and be like, why are you
Mhm.
here? And they were like, "Yeah, no, so sorry." And I actually thought about this the other day, and I said, "You know what, Brittany, you couldn't have gone in her slot because it was her slot. It even had
Yeah.
your name on it. And that would have altered your journey so much." I was so upset. From that day, Eli, I didn't have an agent. I said, "You know what? I'm not coming back to New York," because I was still in Chicago traveling. I said, "I'm not coming back to New York until I have an agent. I'm not doing this anymore. It makes me
Mm.
too tired. I can't do it."
Yeah.
Now, my relationships that I had built, I was able to get appointments and things, but that was like years of just like, that's the pound in the pavement for me. So I said, "You
Right.
know what? All right." Couple months later, Eli, I got an agent. Now I had submitted, I've been submitting top agents and stuff. They wanted me to come to LA. I was like, I can't come to LA. I gotta do Broadway. I
Yeah.
gotta do it first. Um, and all that to say, I got an agent, and then I go in, and I'm in Chicago, and we had talked, and we're back and forth, and da da da. So I would go in for stuff and in and out of New York, and I actually auditioned for Six in Chicago. I didn't
Wow.
even know I was auditioning for Six.
What?
I was auditioning for The Wizard of Oz, okay? So King
What?
Ingram, original Lion King, he was directing The Wizard of Oz at Chicago Shake. So I went in for it. I was at my eighth audition of the day. I was like fasting. I was like in a really good space, like spiritually and physically and all these things. And it was my
Oh.
eighth audition and last audition of the day. And I went in and auditioned at the Equity Building for Chicago Shakes. I saw the breakdown, but I didn't know what Six was. I wasn't even paying attention to that. I went in for The Wizard of Oz. I was like, y'all gonna get all of this today. I'm gonna give you,
Mhm.
we represent the lollipop swag, swag. I was
Right.
ready. So I went in, I sang my song, and Bob was like, Brett, do you have anything else? When I tell you Bob had me go through my whole book, I was like, Bob, you're gonna cut me a check because this is a
You're
concert.
gonna
This is a concert, Bob. Not me. I
Right.
always want to get paid. So always looking for the checks.
Don't we all? Oh my
Listen,
gosh.
I was hungry. I was fasting, I was hungry. So
Right.
then we fast forward. I booked this thing. I get down, get where. I don't know what this is. And I was also in final calls for Anne Boleyn to sing Don't Lose Your Head. So that
Oh.
was really funny. Wow, you would have loved to be in the room for that, Eli.
Yes.
It was very funny. I was like, what grew up in the what? I don't know. Wait, can I start over? It was so much going
Right.
on. She was not for me, obviously. So we're fast forward, we're in our first day of rehearsal and we do all the like paperwork stuff. And I said,
Mm,
"Can we just have a second?" They walked out. I said, "Hey ladies," I said, can we just take a second to just like accept the fact that we're all women,
mm,
we're all humans, we're all women,
mhm.
we're all in this space, we come from different backgrounds and creeds and colors and generational things. Uh, but I think if we respect each other, we'll be all right. Because I've been in all female cast before doing Beehive. I've done Beehive quite a few times. And
Right.
it's my favorite show to do because my experiences on all female shows have just been magic.
Ah,
If you decide to respect each other, because
right.
women, we a lot. And so I said, if in Beehive, it can be a pretty big show, depending on how you want to cast it and what version you do. So I was like, hey guys, like, can we agree that we will respect each other first? And if you don't want to talk to that baby, you don't have to. If you need a hug, hug it out. If you
Mhm.
like, girl, can we, yep, we're going. Whatever we need, let's do that. And we
Yeah.
did. And from that day on, Eli, I am certain that that is our sauce.
Yeah.
Because we took the time with no one else around to say that we will respect each other. So even if somebody don't want to hang out, it's okay. We know that you're not a hangouter. But when
Right.
you do, if you say, "But today I want to turn up at the club," we going to the club. Let's
Right.
go. And that we would be there for each other in whatever way they needed us to be. And
Wow.
that's what we did. And we didn't let anyone, not production, not creative team, not no one get in our sauce. They didn't
Yes.
get in our pot. It's just us. And then there's a pot, like, the container within a container within a container type
Mhm.
situation, but we're the center of it.
Yeah.
And I believe that that had allowed us to, and I was so nervous saying it because I was like, "Brittany, who do you think you are?" But I was like, someone's, you got to do it because we
Yeah.
were all so
Someone's gotta do it.
different. We were all so
Mhm.
different and very aware that this person had been on Broadway, that person did too. That, wow. Wow, I am in the room with some I am in the
Right.
room where it happens. Okay.
Yes.
What is so let's just establish that right now we're all the same, regardless of so it was so many things that was said there that didn't need to be said, as long as we agree to respect each other, and that's what we did, and here we are.
Yeah, that's beautiful, and I think you can tell that on stage.
Yeah.
Now that you say it, it's very clear
Yeah.
that that is your little sauce, and that
Yeah.
is like y'all are just playing, y'all are just doing your thing, you respecting each other, but also letting you guys be yourselves.
Yes.
It's just
Yes.
it's amazing,
It
and
is.
seriously, and it's what makes you can see that you guys are having so much fun, so it makes the audience have just as much fun, if not more.
Exactly.
So it totally translate, and I can't believe that. That's incredible. What a story, and it all came from you. You made that sauce.
It was,
That's amazing.
it was a group thing, and I think it was something that everyone was thinking like, we all need to get together and have a talk. But it was like we had
Yeah.
to do it before we started, right?
No,
We
right.
couldn't do it after rehearsal. We had to do it right before to kind of, foundation is everything. And so I was like, all right, I'll be the one to say it,
Yeah.
and it was fine, and it was like, yep, okay, cool. We all agree, cool. Okay, you can come in now.
Yeah.
It's like one of those secret meetings, and they're like, "What happened in here?"
What is
And I mean, from there, our voices blended. It just was
You became one.
magic. Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
One of a kind. No cap.
Yes, seriously. And honestly, like I said, like I love Six because it's such an not an I guess it is like an ensemble piece,
Yeah,
like y'all have your own moments to shine,
yeah,
but you all complement each other so well, and when you all sing together, it is one.
yeah,
Like it's just you are all being featured, but at the same time, it's a group,
yeah.
and it's just it's mind blowing
It
how
is.
beautiful it is on the stage, and how different it is from any show, and how you all have found a way to make it work and make it what it is today.
Yeah.
So kudos to all of you. Everyone is obsessed with Six, and it's such a beautiful, beautiful show, and y'all are doing some incredible work, and it's so cool that you're back on Broadway. So everyone go check out Six because we're back,
We are
better than
back.
ever. Yes,
Woo!
so exciting. I mean, honest to God, Brittany, I can't thank you enough. I've taken up so much of your time, but I am so honored that you were able to come on here today and talk to me about all these incredible stories that you had to share. I think a lot of people will learn a lot from it.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Eli. And I'm like, and that's the thing when I just start talking and I'm just like, oh my gosh, and this thing happened and this
Oh, it's
thing happened,
beautiful.
So I apologize for talking your head off and everyone that's listening, but it's that right that to give people more of an understanding. I would love like in a dream world for people to really think about Broadway, how they do like mega feature films and like
Mm,
huge cinema,
yeah.
and like really see our industry as this as a very important, very detrimental and vital part of the entertainment industry.
Yes.
And know how many actors that people love that are on film right now, and Netflix and all of these different streaming platforms and stuff that started on Broadway or that started
Yeah.
in a regional theater somewhere. So supporting Broadway and supporting regional theaters, go see tours and things like that. How important it is to the rest of the infrastructure of entertainment,
Yes.
because Broadway, live theater is where it all started. Going in vaudeville and all of these things, like all of the even live. I mean, live entertainment. Period. Comedy shows, all of that. Like it's so hard to get up there and be
Right.
vulnerable. We don't get 17 takes.
Yeah.
That's also its own hard, difficult thing. But when you see somebody's wig fall off, like Ari
Yes.
did, my girl Ari, and threw it, that's real, And then
Yeah.
people were like, wow, my girl was on the Today Show, the People's Magazine, all of that. And this girl is an incredible artist, DJ, and
Yeah.
community activist and all of these things, and and have been around for a long time. And it took for her wig to fall off for people to see her. Do you see what I
Right.
mean? Wow.
Right.
That is wow to me. And what other industry can your wig fall off and it make you
Yeah.
24 hour sensation? No,
Right.
none other than Broadway. So I
None other.
just like in places like, Broadway Podcast Network and things like that that continue to push our stories forward and things I'm so grateful for. And so
Oh.
thank you so much for having me on, Eli. I am so honored to have chatted with you today. Thank you.
Oh
Thank
my god, thank you. You deserve to take all the bows. Seriously, so much fun. Oh, yeah, there it is. Oh my
you.
god. Yes. Oh, well, seriously, thank you so much. This was a blast, and you are one of the best storytellers I think I've had on the podcast. So thank you.
Oh my God. Yeah. Thank you.